everybody, Phobos here. Welcome to another episode on the Kubikraft server. Oh, hello. Hello everybody, Phobos here. Welcome to another episode on the Kubikraft server. This is episode 3, and today we are not going to be messing around at all. We are building this XP farm. You see this big rig around me? I've actually spent a couple of days painstakingly making a model in Creative based on the actual locations of the spawners and everything, and this is where the top of it's going to be. A little bit taller than I wanted it to be, I'm not going to lie. That's it's going to be interesting trying to make this fit into the community build, especially because it's literally the same size as that circle over there, the one that Kyle's been working on for so long. Check this out, guys. This here is what we're going to be building today. Right from start, well, okay, maybe not start to finish because there could be a lot of extra work, but the main goal at least is to get the 3 spawners up and running so that we can at least have some kind of experience, which would be really nice. That's actually what I decided on doing instead of trying to get one of the smaller ones set up, because that's just creating extra work for no real good reason. But yeah, this here, it's the same design that we had before. It's just that instead of sending everything into a cactus, we actually have a specially designed spider shaft here, which I think I finally got right. So we'll see how that goes. And we also have the water elevators for the mobs to actually get up into the drop shaft. Now, let's see here. We're just going to take a peek on the inside. This is a little bit different too, because in the last one, what we had was just one dispenser, and it kind of got everything to flow. Now, in this one, we're going to have 15, so it's a little bit different, but we had to change the design so that it would filter out Enderman, because the last thing we wanted was Enderman to come up onto the surface. Yep, just like in the last one, what we had here was the water flows. That was an odd background noise. Anyway, so water flows, pushes everything toward the center. If you're more than one gap wide, you just keep going, which would be the spiders. Bam. Flow all the way down here. Now, this, of course, hooks up to the same spider chamber here. Nothing gets softened. I wish things would get softened, but they just don't. And yeah, everything just gets pushed into here for tillage and whatnot. So that's kind of exciting. Now, I've gone in the actual in the game, I've gone and changed this out to just something solid. The original thought was that we would have a item collection system underneath here, and this here would actually allow the drops to fall through for the most part during AFK mode. But yeah, I'm thinking more like magma blocks now or something like that. There's a few things that I'm going to tweak as I build it, just because I've noticed a few things. Like, for example, up at the top here, spiders were getting clogged. This was just like a big bed of spiders, this whole center thing here, just because this isn't quite wide enough. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and widened the whole thing, but provided an overhang as a bit of an anti-spider device. So now up top, redstone circuitry is pretty straightforward. It's just, yeah, you just have the couple of droppers, a little bit of a repeater clock, and then it fires off all the dispensers, so nothing really too fancy there. But yeah, when actually testing this thing, it was pumping out mobs like crazy. I'll actually show you right now. So we're in peaceful right now. What we're going to do is we're going to turn it to hard, and I'll show you just how quickly everything just starts to pour in. So we're already hearing zombies, which is kind of cool. That must be from the spawner, I'd imagine. Spiders coming in, they're usually the first contestants, and then, bam, right there. So that would be from, yeah, that's the dark room happening right there. As you can see, we're getting a decent amount of creepers. Spiders coming in, witches are coming in. These things are going to fill up very soon. We're actually going to start to see them die just from being crammed in too much. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I'd say that overall, the theory is at least really nice. Now, you never know when you when you bring these things over to a server or what have you. Yeah, see right there. They're already starting to die from being crammed in too hard. So this is the kind of potential that the system has. Now, if we actually take a couple swings at these guys here, you can see the normal spiders coming in too. At least there should be normal spiders. Come on. Come on, you can fit. Like I said, it's not quite wide enough, so a lot of them are just getting clogged. But yeah, so, come on. Are you going to help me out here? You going to help me out here? Big guy, come on. Come on. There we go. So it actually gets the these guys in here too. So this here is just to give credit where credit's due. This here comes from WaffleStick. I modified it ever so slightly. This is his Cave Spiders tutorial, and I'll leave a link for that. The other mob farms are fairly standard, so I'm not certain who to give credit to. And of course, there's... I'll leave a link for the gentleman here below, who actually helped me to sort out the spider sorter. So the spider sorter here was actually inspired by TakaSlimeFriends, and I'm going to leave a link to his video as well. Essentially, he helped me to realize that the spiders will actually flow over top of this gap here because they're too wide to fall into it, but everything else will just simply fall in. So we're just going to pop back onto the Kubikraft server and start up the time lapse. Alright guys, check this out. This here is, I'm coming to call it the fish bowl just because it's, well, I don't know, just a giant bowl I guess, but yeah, look at this thing. This thing's crazy. Just hop down there, bam, and take a look on the inside here. This is the area where all of our 15 spawning platforms are going to be going. So down here is actually going to be the water area. And that's probably the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of toss in the ledge, get the water going. But that being said, this here is going to be the shaft for the spiders. Now, compared to the one in the creative world, I've extended it by one, just because I worked out in my head how things could actually work out properly with it. And there's still going to be that overhang as like a anti-climbing thing, but there's still going to be enough space in the middle that they're not going to get all clogged up, all that fun stuff. And this here is, of course, where the two-legged mobs go. So, for the next part, we are going to dig down to the proper level, establish where the AFK spot is, and then, well, if you take a look at our tools here, they're not doing too well. We're going to need some experience soon. We could just go to the end, but I figure why not take a little bit of time, dig out one of the smaller XP farms, and then we have something a little bit more local. So we're just going to get right on that. Listen, guys. I hope it's coming through. The sound of spiders. There is one of our spawners right over there, and we are close enough to hear it. And if we actually stand right here, this is where we'll actually be able to activate this, the skeleton, and the zombie spawner. So that's pretty exciting. Just going to spend a little bit more time here hollowing out some way of getting out of here. And yeah, then we'll move on to the next part. Alright, so here we are back in the creative world. Now, if you guys remember, there is a very large chamber up in here. This is what we actually just finished, except for the redstone and the platforms. So we're going to take care of that in a little bit. Oh, well, there's definitely some details to go into this part here, but we've got the main area dug out, which is great. Now, we widened this a little bit here, but we have dug down to this area down here and gotten our little AFK area kind of dug out a little bit. We at least have those 2 blocks marked in wood, which is really fantastic. Now, what we're working on now is actually just going to be popping back up to the top here. Let's just, something like that. Okay, it's going to be this area in here. So basically, mobs are going to come die. If you have 2 legs, you fall down here, like I've said a few times. And this is the part that we're actually going to cut out today. Now, I realized that I made a mistake here. Anything that falls in here goes nowhere. We are going to fix that. So no worries. We'll make it so that everything flows into these 2 channels here, because we found that having them drop down here just didn't quite work out as well as we wanted. Then, once we're done with that, we'll move on to the next part. The next part is going to be right in here. So these are the channels that the mobs use to act like the mob evader that actually brings everything up and directly over. So this will be for our skeletons and our zombies. So if we just kind of pop down here, it's always a little bit weird when you go, oh, yeah, a little bit too far there. Something like there. Perfect. So this is where the main exit for these chambers is. So we can actually take care of that, and once we get that figured out, we basically are gonna, oh, and of course, in here, right, getting this little area here cut out to connect up with that. So that means we're actually really close to this thing when we're digging. We were actually digging right there. So we're right beside this thing the whole time. That's kind of interesting. So anyway, long story short, we're going to get that up and running, and then we should actually have something that produces some kind of experience. So that would be really nice. And then it's just a matter of finishing up the redstone up top, and then we'll actually have the fully completed farm. So that's really fantastic, and let's get to it. So guys, we are done the spawner portion of everything. It's not quite done yet, but we are definitely getting there. We are getting there. There's enough to show off, and I'm actually going to give a tour of how everything looks. Now, you might remember from the footage there was a little makeshift staircase there. I've gone ahead off camera and, upgraded it just a little bit. Still needs a little bit of decorating. Other, I guess, survivors are what we're called. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that, but that's okay. Other members of the server are more than welcome to join in. Now, this here's a little trick that I actually just picked up on, was putting the stairs on the side like that to make a bit of a makeshift guardrail. It helps to proportion the middle part and everything too. I was pretty happy when I stumbled across that. I also spent a bunch of time cleaning up this area. Now, I'm nowhere near done yet. I'm still going to have to cave out 40 blocks from the center of this thing because apparently zombies call for reinforcements in hard mode. So that's exciting. So lots of half slabs are going in. But anyway, what we do is we run around here and we can already hear spiders. And this here needs some cleaning up. It really does. But this here is what the final area wound up looking like. Now, I have some plans for For an AFK mode, it's going to involve some magma blocks with hopper minecarts inside them. So I'm going to glitch the game a little bit that way. Push this whole thing back a little bit because it turns out that we can, and some other things like that. But yeah, we're good to go. So if we just stand here, we smack these guys around, and we can collect their sweet, sweet experience if we just kind of duck to the left a little bit. Now, they're not really... There's some hoppers kind of getting in the way. Got to fix that, but bam. These guys are down to 1 hit for the most part, which is pretty fantastic. If we stand here long enough, they do trickle in. Now, it's definitely not the kind of rates that we were getting on the creative world, but that's, you know, it just makes sense because we don't have the darkroom spawner hooked up yet. Now, another cool thing, I am so grateful to Xylophony for figuring this one out. Bows work as fuel. Did you know this, people? Ooh, people have been smelting. That's kind of exciting. Potatoes. Yeah, we've been getting potatoes from the zombies, and I guess somebody got hungry. So, ooh, iron. So yeah, I got hungry and started smelting some potatoes. Now, you'll notice here that we get a lot of bows. Well, we also get things like armor that we can actually smelt down. So we get bows, we use them as fuel, we get armor, we can smelt it down, and we can get gold nuggets, iron nuggets, all that fun stuff. So it's pretty happy with the way that it turned out. I love that sound when they all die at once. Another way that this place can be used as well, if we say, as an example, get rid of the spiders here. There's probably going to be a couple more that trickle in, but right now we are out of range, which means that, say, if we don't really care about straying and we kind of don't want to have to worry about them being pushed back and then having to come back forward again, we can actually just stand back over here. This will bring in just the skeletons and the zombies, which I thought was pretty interesting. Let's clean this up a little bit here. It'd be nice. Like, I've noticed that people as a whole tend to not take care of the chest. Like, they tend not to move the metal over and move the bows over, that kind of thing. Anybody who's on the server who's watching this video definitely appreciates some help that way. Ooh, experience. Perfect. So, oh, and a spider. That's okay. Now, something else that I wanted to showcase too is the change. Well, if you're wondering about this here, eventually we're going to have that all the way around. So I just kind of made my infinite water source into the thing that it's going to be in the long run. So it just kind of saved me a step. But that being said, I actually wanted to showcase the differences or the changes that I've made to here. So we showed in the creative world how this thing works. The mobs just come down. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Oh, I am a mob, and I just fell into this thing. And I'm just going to simulate this by pressing and holding the spacebar. I just kind of bob around a little bit here, and I get pushed down over to here. Now you'll notice that when I get to this point, I don't have any options. I'm pressing and holding shift, hence why I'm not falling in. But I don't have any options here. Oh no! Oh no! Alright, we are back, and this time I am not going to fall off that edge. So, this over here is the mob evader. Now, it's a shame that a mere moment ago I wasn't recording because there was actually I think this one was a zombie that came up? Yeah, zombie. Came up this way. So, yeah, it just came up here and then bam, gets pushed here. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward, and it's actually a lot simpler than what I had done in the creative world, and it also solves the problems of things coming in this way. You either fall straight down the hole and die. Slim chance of that, no big deal, really, in the grand scheme of things. But the other thing is, if you land in the center there, you just kind of get pushed down a channel. So let's get out of here and move on to the rest of the episode. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all that I have time for today. If you like what you saw here, please support the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notify button, all that fun stuff. This isn't your first video. You guys definitely know what to do. And please, well, also let me know in the comments what you actually think of everything, because I'm not entirely certain if my episodes are too long, too short, if the content's there, if I talk too much, all these things. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. The channel is very young at this point, and of course, every little bit helps. So thank you guys again, and enjoy.